This response is overwhelming, and I knew it would be. When I first married Mary B., everybody said, "You married over your status." She was on the social register, and she was a debutante, and she had good manners and ability to relate to people. Quite frankly, most of the characteristics she has were the ones I was weak in. So, we hooked up, and even though I was overmarrying, it really worked out pretty well. There's so many things I can tell you about what Mary B. taught me. One of the things is on the, I learned this recently. She and I used to have this discussion about art. And she said, "Art is life." No, Mary B. Art is an imitation of life. You have to go out and earn some money, then you have to save it, and then maybe you can buy some art, and then maybe you can support somebody in art, but you got to do the other first. She says, no. Life is art. So I started thinking about it. This is since she went into her coma. By the way, we made 48 years and 1 day in our marriage. And as everybody knows, that's a miracle. But thinking about my definition of art now, and let me tell you what else she did to me about a year ago. I'd always supported her in the art, anything she wanted to do, and Barbara needs something, I'd try to get it. But I said, "Art's your thing." She says, "Well, Barbara and I want you to be on the board." I said, "Maybe. You know, I don't know a lot about art. You know, I've learned some through you, but I don't know a lot." She said, "No, we need your skills, need your marketing. Things are good." So anyway, I went on the board, and it's starting to come together, I think. We're going to have something really neat here. She had the vision, I have the vision of making this a center for art education, especially since art and all the new technology is going so crazy with YouTube and websites and all the media. And so she told me, "You need to go over and do this." So I'm here trying to do this, and it's starting. Looks like we're going to bring it together, and it was her that did it, not me. Now, my definition of art now is, art is the sincere, authentic expression of who you are, okay? And whatever you do, you're an artist. If you're a good golfer, you're an artist. If you're a good attorney, you're an artist. Whatever it is, you're an artist. When you find your calling and your passion, and she had a passion for art, then you are an artist. I want to talk just a couple more things, and this is about you all getting together, not me. But there's one picture over there from 1980. These were all sort of key events in our life. But it's the one with the crazy wallpaper over there. We'd been here for 6 years. And I was just getting started, and you know, she kept bugging me about, you know, money for clothes and all this stuff. And so I gave her some. But not like later. But in 1980, she was voted the best dressed woman in Coral Springs. I said, "Well, Mary B., I didn't do too bad, did I? You got it up." She says, "No, I was just such an artist, I could spread your money and make it work." So, anyway, let me talk a little bit about her art. It was underlying everything we did, and the class, and the way she held parties. And by the way, she wasn't here to do this party. And my kids and I tried to do our very best to imitate the way Mary B. would do it, with all the details, including a videotape. But music, you had to have music, you had to have food, you had to have drink, you had to have ambiance where everybody could get together and have fun. So we tried our best, and I'm sure she could probably find some holes in what we did. But I think the kids and I, and the kids especially, did real well, including selecting these 12 pictures around here of key points of our life. So going back to art, when we got married, she finished 2 years of school. So we raised the kids. She says, I'm going back to school. So she goes to BCC, finishes her necessary courses to get an FAU. 20 years later, after she would have graduated, she graduated FAU with a BFA. Then she got into graduate school, and she said, I don't like this, so she wanted to go to the Art Institute. So she went to the Art Institute. In 1986, she finished the Art Institute, and I got the little award, #1 student in the class at 46 years old with all these 18, 20, 21, 22-year-olds. So she was committed. Every time art came up, she was involved. She was involved here. She's on the public art committee for the city. She was on the board for a mental health organization called 9 Muses, which takes people who are using art to help their mental condition. So that's what her passion was, and she stuck with it. She never stopped. Just go back to parties just a minute, because I want you all to be able to communicate and talk among yourselves. But she was such an asset to me all the way through. Many of you here have been at different parts of her life. Many of you have been to her parties. We used to have 5 or 6 parties every year. From black tie, which you see here, to everybody's picture taken, to Polaroid Fantasy, which was just a gas, tacky tourist. I mean, she had themes and everything for all the parties. And the people that I worked with, main conversation, when are we having another party and what's going to be the theme? So she did that, and that built the relationships that I could have never done by myself. So I'm really going to miss her. I just want to thank Barbara for, I was meditating the day after she went into coma. I started thinking, she'd said, we've got to go back and get involved in a church because I may need it for a burial. I said, no, you're not going to do that. So then she says, a lot of my friends have gone to the country club. She said, no, I don't want that under any circumstances. And she never said the museum, but it came to me that the museum would be the perfect place because this was her sanctuary. This is her heaven on earth. You look at the Peace Garden, the mosaics, the artwork all around, and the quality artists we bring in here. It is a great place, and I've learned to appreciate that. So I called Barbara the next morning, and Barbara said, yes, I'd be so happy to help you. And she's bent over backwards. And she got the music. And the music, by the way, 1985, I'd had a good year, so maybe he bought me an antique grand piano. So I started playing it. Hadn't played since 12, I was 44 then. Started playing it, I could play it. So then I played a little loud. And Mary B would come in, and she didn't like the song or how loud I was playing. She'd go in the bedroom, slam the door, turn the TV on. But when she liked it, she'd come in and sit down and we'd talk about it. So what I did is I put 25 songs that she liked, and that's what Les and his group played. So she even pushed me as far as music and other things, and just one final thing, which is sort of a little humor of Mary B. And I'll give this to her. We came to a lot of shows here at the theater, and they got some really nice quality shows, especially for us seniors, because they got a lot of the old rock and roll groups and all that type of thing here. But anyway, Lily Tomlin was here about 2 months ago. Now Lily Tomlin got up there and did her little shtick as a one-woman show. And she said, and I'll close with this, she says, this is really a nice place. It's a full house. She says, I've been working my whole life to play Coral Springs.